So this is the El Nino year when everyone needs a step up, right?
Yeah.
So here's a good like step up from a normal performance board. I don't take one particular shortboard and like stretch it out or anything. It's just kind of its own little life form. One constant continual curve through the whole thing. The concaves are a little shallower because you don't need as much concave to create as much lift because the waves, you know, pushier wave creates more for you. So you don't need as much concave, but it's an even single. Again, single to inset double, which that particular hull contour or bottom, that really gives you a wide open sweet spot. And for step ups, a wide open sweet spot's key. And you'll be like, way up here, you know, in the barrel, and then all of a sudden you're way back here,
doing
you
turns.
cut back, and everywhere in between.
No, that was what I really liked about this board, especially in Hawaii, was when you're dropping in, it kind of allows you to shift your feet up forward more, and the rail line is like a lot longer, so it gives you a little bit more rail to kind of sit on instead of having to always be back on the tail trying to drop in. So this was a really great board for barrel riding. Even doing big turns, it felt amazing.
You know, your rail's not real blobby. You pull this down and it's even less volume at the rail. It's knifier, you know, for handling higher speeds.
All the foam's in the middle and all throughout the board.
It's all in the middle, and I've even been putting a little more than the last few years, like under here on my step-up boards, where you just got that little pad.
Yeah, well that was what I really noticed with this thing off the wall. I just felt like I could just get right under the lip, but I feel like I didn't really have to struggle to get into waves. It just the wave would just pick me up, and like I was already in the wave.
So that's the step up or the small gun. Ante Up, we call it. And the other like big brother to that one is this one, 7.0, and this was the one you rode at Pipe and backdoor. And this, they're very similar. They're like brothers, these two boards. This is big brother, and that's little big brother. And so this guy is 7.0. What are we doing this? 7.0, 18 3/4, 2 5/8, 35 liters.
35 liters.
Same concept, like tons of foam packed in the middle, but a nice knifey rail to knife in. Round tail and just kind of everything stretched the longer you go. To fit more rail line in and fit, you know, steep and deep, as the cliche goes.
Everything just turned out so good. It doesn't feel like a gun, you know, when you hold it. It doesn't look like a gun. It feels like a shortboard or like a board that you could ride just like in anything.
What I did on these was something I called an inverted fulcrum. The fulcrum, that's like the point right at the center of the board that the rocker, you know, tips on. So I took that fulcrum that normally has a lot of entry rocker and I dropped all the front points down lower, but then I correspondingly pulled them up in the back end. And so what I was hoping that would do, and what Nick told me and we, you know, saw from the footage that just came out sick, dude, is that there goes boards. There they go. So what we found was lower entry in here, you know, and more foam up here in the chest. That just glides the board in like a Cadillac, just glides into waves early, so you're not getting pulled up the face and then recovering. You're gliding in early, setting your line, flying down the line with lower entry too creates a lot of drive, and then the back half being curvier, that fits up in the steep part of the wave and it feels at home back there, so you can just sit in there. It's not wanting to run out of there, it's just wanting to sit in there. And then, you know, come out when you just, you know, tip it a little bit. It goes, okay, time to come out.
All I know is that the waves that I did catch on this thing, it felt amazing. I was tripping on looking at the liters because I was just like, wow, these things have so much foam in them, but I couldn't believe how much like paddling speed I had when I was out in the water. Like that was the biggest thing for me, was being able to like paddle for waves and actually like feel like I'm catching the wave instead of struggling like getting into them.
Especially when there's other people in the mix.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like an isolated, I'm all by myself. Like, it's such a good feeling to be like,
just
oh
being
my gosh, I got it before. That's mine.
Yeah, just being on top of the water when you're paddling for like a bigger wave just feels so. You feel so much more confident.
A good gun shouldn't feel like a gun.
Yeah.
It should feel like a shortboard that you're able to dig into big waves, but maneuver it like a shortboard. Not have it feel like, whoa, I'm a gun.
It feels like I'm riding a shortboard in you know what, 6, 8, 10 foot surf.
So sick.
So yeah.